I've run a website on the Amish for over 15 years now. Over the years, reading a lot of news media, watching programs about the Amish, ton of reader comments, I've noticed there are a few common errors people make when discussing the Amish. And don't get me wrong, I've probably been guilty of all of these at some point. First common mistake I see, people tend to assume the way that one group of Amish does something is how it works with all Amish. A lot of times people take their own personal experience with the Amish and apply it to all Amish. And this tends to be more common with negative situations. For example, if one group of Amish is behaving counter to what a person believes or expects from them, then all Amish might be painted as hypocrites. You may have one Amish person who gets in trouble with the law, or the case of puppy mills, for example. You can probably think of a lot of different examples, including how Amish use technology, what their homes look like, religious practice, and so on. There are certainly consistencies across the Amish, but the Amish are quite diverse. There are over 2,700 horse and buggy Amish churches. Some of those are plainer, some of those are more progressive. I also hear people describing one group of Amish as the true Amish. And these other Amish that are more progressive are not the true Amish. Okay, they're just different ways of being Amish. When I talk about the Amish, I'm talking about horse and buggy Amish. So, second mistake I see is romanticizing and or demonizing the Amish. These are really two sides of the same coin. One thing I've noticed is that the Amish really evoke emotions on both ends of the spectrum. Why are they romanticized or idealized? And why are they demonized? Well, on the one hand, there are some really attractive characteristics about Amish life in general. We look at how the Amish live, things like strong family life, simpler ways of living, fewer material possessions, maybe less focus on consumption. And we compare that to our own lives. And, if something is weak or missing completely in our own life, it just makes the Amish or our perception of them that much more attractive. On the other hand, there are aspects of Amish life which disturb modern people in 21st century Western society. Things like 8 grades of schooling, the Amish end schooling after 8 grades. Some of their farming practices, the role of women, or how women are perceived to be in Amish culture. And then there's also the behavior of individual Amish people. When an Amish person acts a certain way, his behavior becomes quote-unquote Amish behavior. People start to assume that the way one member of a group does something represents how all of them do something. So it's easy to see how focusing on either of these sides of the coin can lead to a picture that's much rosier or darker than reality. And the Amish themselves will say, we are just people too. That means they have the same flaws and the same potential for goodness as non-Amish people. Finally, number 3, saying that the Amish never or the Amish always do something. Now, this is similar to my first point, but not exactly. I'm kind of borrowing this one from an Amish friend who made the point that there are so often exceptions to the way Amish do things. And meaning, that there's a lot of, again, diversity across Amish society. There may be a different church in Amish culture where things are done a little bit differently. For example, most Amish worship in the home. They use the basement or they use another structure, a shop, a large room in the home for their church worship. But there are a few Amish churches who use meeting houses for Sunday worship. Or you may have that a rule or a custom might shift based on a situation. Amish builders, many will use conventional power tools on the job site. They can actually plug that into their English customer's power source and use that to build the home. But they wouldn't necessarily use those tools on their own homes. Or it's almost always true to say the Amish never fly. But one exception to that would be if there's an emergency. Someone needs a helicopter life flight to a hospital. Or if you're in the New Order Amish, which is a group that permits flying, but it's only a few percent of the total Amish population. And since the Amish are comprised of over 350,000 individuals, individual actions sometimes go against the standard Amish practice. There may be exceptions made on an individual basis, such as allowing air conditioning in a home for someone that has a health issue. So, we have to use generalizations when we talk about the Amish because you can get bogged down if you have to talk about every nuance, but it can be tricky to generalize about all Amish churches. So, what do you think? Do you agree with these? Do you disagree? Are there other things I should add to this list? Are there other common mistakes that you see? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Hit like if you liked the video. Talk to you next time.